Hey everyone, so I'm just keeping Loki in this video because I honestly can't get enough of this cutie. So now that the interview process is done, I just wanted to talk about things that I saw. Are you sitting? Yeah, cutie. I have to put him in more. So basically things that I saw are that you have to keep your interviewer engaged. Things that you should always know is like, why did you choose this specialty? How did you get inspired? Who's your role model? Those social, like behavioral questions, like, okay, you find a coworker who's like drinking, how would you respond to that? Like those kinds of things you should know the answer to. And then other things are just like, you know, the basic things that you were asked in medical school you should know. And then like your greatest accomplishment, your 3 greatest strengths, your 3 greatest weaknesses. The most interesting question that I was asked probably had to do about something like, it's like the, you know, like what's your spirit animal kind of thing. I responded way too quickly that I was a grumpy cat. Probably shouldn't have said that, especially because have a little dog, but you have to read the room. Some people want a serious question, some people want a fun answer. Usually if you're asking about like a spirit animal, that's not really meant to be a serious question. And there are also some questions where really all they're looking for is like how you can explain yourself. Like you can be asked like, what color crayon would you be? And it doesn't matter what color you pick. More so it matters, you know, what does that have to do with you? Oh, I would be blue because I'm like, you know, I'm calm like the ocean. Like something generic like that. Don't say that though, that was dumb. But if you said that in an interview, it's not dumb. I got like, you know, you just get asked these kind of questions. Just make sure that you take a second, like breathe. You don't have to respond immediately. But yeah, and also I was asked like what TV I was watching. So for some people who like aren't into TV, you don't have to, but like your TV watching can actually come up. I was asked multiple times what I was watching on like Netflix. And I actually had been watching Haunting of Hill House, so that came up. A lot of events, like the pre-interview dinners, I would try to attend those the best you can. It definitely gets hard when you have interviews that are back-to-back and you're definitely gonna miss some. But if you can go to them, you can, because you kind of get the vibe of the residents. You kind of see how they interact with each other, and I think that's very important to prioritize. You know, like, are these residents getting along? Are these people I can see myself with for the next however many years? So I would definitely recommend going to those, and it's also free food. And when you're spending this much money, any free food you can get is great. But yeah, I think that's always good. And they would always tell you things about the program that kind of help you prepare your interview questions. Like, no matter what, always have 2 to 3 questions prepared to ask your interviewer. Even if you ask each interviewer like the same thing. I wouldn't do that, but like ask them questions because it's supposed to show interest. There are some places that they were actually like, no, we understand we're your last interview of the day. Like, if you have no more questions at this point, like, that's fine. So that is a okay scenario, but I'd still ask a couple of questions. The best thing I've heard is like, be your genuine self. And everyone says that, you know, be yourself. I would say be your best self, you know, because no one's at their peak at all times. We all have our ups and downs, but I would definitely, you know, show the best version of yourself, but don't try and like change yourself. You know, like if you are not a person who's into hiking, don't say that you're into hiking. Funny, Loki and I just got back from a hike, but you know, like don't say things that aren't true, because 1, they might find out and that will look horrible. And 2, like you want to be with people who actually fit your vibe and all that. So I would, you know, that's what I've gathered from interviewing. I would practice interviewing, and you know, you start off kind of slow in the beginning and then you kind of have the rhythm down and you know the routine, and then like winter break hit, and then all this we're like, wow, we forgot our interview answers. So it eventually becomes routine. Just keep practicing the routine. Honestly, you could even try recording yourself and seeing how you respond. Like I honestly know I'll do like hand motions, and I touch my hair a lot. So I actually like put my hair up for most of my interviews. So you just have to know yourself and kind of work on things that, you know, you might be shaky on. Like sometimes I get a little quiet, so I work on my enunciation, make sure I'm loud enough. Practice your handshake. Firm handshakes, great. Yeah, I would try recording yourself and seeing how you answer to someone else. Practice with your friends, do whatever. The process is really tiring, to be honest. I really loved meeting all the people on the interview trail, and I really met a lot of like cool attendings, but it's really exhausting, you know, going from plane to plane and like having to be your best self at all times and like being smiley and happy, and like you're like barely slept because your plane comes in at 1 a.m. because it was delayed and you have like a 7 a.m. interview. Like, it's exhausting. So the process is a little tiring, and then you get over it, and then you enjoy your 4th year, which I've never been dumber than I am right now during this year, because I have not been studying much, and that's honestly something I'm going to try and work on, is studying more this break. You know, like, I want to prepare a little bit, but honestly, I know in my heart, like, nothing is going to prepare me for a turn year. I'm going to get slaughtered. And it's okay, you know, because we'll finally be working towards something that we want to do. And I'm very much excited for this process. Match day will be March 15th, 2019. So I will let you guys know how it goes. I am honestly really scared, but I'm also excited to see how things end up. So thank you for watching. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.